Good morning. I'm testing some audio because we are going to be doing a mantra meditation today. And normally, if you were to come into one of my classes and we were doing mantra meditation, I would have the song playing already whenever you walk in so that you can just kind of get used to the sound and the rhythm and kind of plant that seed a little bit. So we are going to be doing a full moon meditation. It's going to sound like this. So I hope that the audio is there. And these are the words. So it's I'm not sure if that's coming through. Hey, good morning, Mike. Okay. So that's kind of the rhythm, just so that you get it in your head a little bit. Yay, perfect. Okay. So I'll just leave that how it is, and I won't mess with it at all. So that's going to be the meditation that we do towards the end. So I've got a little bit of a shortened practice today, just from a physical, like Kriya standpoint. We're going to do a little bit of warming up the body, as always, trying to balance the chakras before we do any type of meditation. We're going to be leaning on our old faithful Kriya that we've been doing for the past few weeks, which is Sat Kriya. So just spending a little bit of time in that posture so that, again, we can work on all of that lower triangle, because we're really trying to focus on that full moon energy right now. It came through on Thursday. I don't know if you had time to witness it, but it was humongous. It's our last super moon of the year. So anytime that we've got that full moon, it's really asking us to do a deep dive into those feels, the emotions that are swirling around, the things that we've just been kind of putting off. And especially, you can imagine when we have that super moon, it's like getting really close, like, hey, I see you here. I'm pulling at this stuff. Do you also have time to take a look? And this one in particular, we do have a couple of days. So anytime full moon comes through, we have about 3 days on either side of it to kind of work with that energy and get in alignment. And since we're looking at a full moon in Scorpio, that's like hella deep feels and mega transformation and this sort of death in a way. So in tarot, the card for Scorpio is death. And it can be kind of scary. We were talking about this in our full moon last night, that sometimes when you look at death and you look at different cards, you might get something like this that's like super crazy looking, or it looks very scary. But anytime we get any of the death cards, devil cards, tower cards, any of these cards that like are going to just shake your core, shake your foundation, there's a lot of beauty that comes in that too. So I always like to take a look at more traditional imagery instead. This is death in the Smith Weight deck. It's like the bicentennial edition. And so, I mean, you have, you know, these endings that are happening here at the bottom, but you also have this beautiful flower. You have the sunset in the back. You have these two pillars representing balance. And I think that with Scorpio, there's a lot of room to try to find the beauty in endings, try to honor the beauty in endings, and also just have this very empowering mantra, because when things are ending and things are changing, especially when it feels like it's not under our control or we weren't ready for it, there can be like a lot of helplessness there, or a lot of like, hey, no one consulted me before we decided to do all of this. But it's kind of part of the process that we are just continually unfolding. We are constantly unfolding and coming into new versions of ourselves. And that's what this full moon is asking us to do. And coming 2 weeks right before Gemini season, Gemini is this wonderfully creative season where we're in alignment with people near us. We're like vibing off of people. We're seeing ourselves in others. That could be good or bad. So the goodness you see in others is yourself, but the things that piss you off about others is also yourself. So take a look at that. But it's also this great time to be heart-centered. Gemini really opens up that throat chakra so that we can communicate and express ourselves. And so that's why we're going to work on that Antar Nod or the full moon meditation today, because we're going to take all of this beautiful energy, let it open up into a lotus, and then we're going to just let all of that stuff fall through that we don't need anymore, or that, you know, we don't really have a choice. It's time to move forward. We're figuring out our new normal and life goes on. So I hope that this sits well with you today. I hope that this is helping in your practice. It will be more restorative. If you're still feeling those deep, heavy feels, or you kind of feel light and you're feeling heavy and you're looking for lightness, I would say take a look back at last week's class, releasing those heavy emotions. Get down with that Sat Kriya workout and get just all of that heaviness out if you need something a little bit more vigorous. So we'll go ahead and get started. So let's just bring ourselves to a cross-legged position. We'll begin to ground ourselves a little bit and just connect to our breath. So bring yourself in that meditative posture. Begin to connect with your breath as you close your eyes. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Bringing the gaze inward and upward to the third eye. Beginning to notice where your body is connected to the ground. So you may feel it in your sit bones, maybe the side of your foot, the side of your calf. Focusing on where we're rooted and grounded here gives us that freedom to also rise within our posture. So on each inhale, notice how those ribs are widening out to the side. Notice how we're creating a bit more of expansion. On the exhale, focus on rising, so lengthening from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. Releasing tension in the body, doing a little bit of scanning that entire way. Really anchoring yourself to your breath now. Focusing on the rise and fall. Seeing if you can make it a smooth transition between the inhale and the exhale. So taking a moment now to just let everything else fall away. Just spending time with you, your mind, your body, your spirit in this moment. Take a moment now to bring those palms together at heart center. Begin rubbing vigorously, creating some heating, activating energy. From here, you can set an intention for today's practice, if you'd like, where you're focusing on that cycle of continuously unfolding. We're focused on honoring the endings and opening ourselves up to the creativity of others in our lives. When you've got that either word or phrase in your mind, you can find stillness at heart center. Push those palms together, just slightly feel the knuckles of the thumb against your sternum. On your next inhale, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, roll them down and back so that they sit just a little bit lower than before. From here, we'll tune in using the Adi mantra, so calling on our higher self, calling on our guides, our ancestors, that universal creative consciousness that exists in us all, exists inside of ourselves especially. Helping to guide you through any stuck bits or any pieces that need to be connected today in your practice. So inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to tune in. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Pull up on root lock. Visualize that energy spiraling from the base of the spine up through the crown of the head. Before it's uncomfortable, exhale through both nostrils. Let those hands come down either to the knees or to the floor, keeping that gaze inward and upward at the brow. And just take a moment here to witness the space that you've created. So already through projecting your voice, that vibration coming deep from the belly, deep from that central channel in your body. What expansion have you already been able to create? And where might tension still be hanging on in the body? Very good. Okay, when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. Got a little bit of tunes. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit though. We'll get some warm-ups going here. So just like any other day, we're gonna wanna start from the bottom and work our way up a little bit, balancing those chakras. So keep yourself in that cross-leg position. We're gonna start working on loosening the hips a little bit. So keeping those hands on the knees, just rotating forward on the inhale, rotating back on the exhale. Just working with your own movement here. You can keep that gaze inward and upward at the third eye. Focusing on the breath, focusing on that breathing, still coming from the belly. All we're doing is rotating the heart around the base of the spine. If you're finding that your mind is a bit busy this morning, you can add in a mental mantra during these warm-ups. So every time we inhale, we can vibrate soft. On the exhale, we can vibrate nam. Again, just to remind us to be rooted in the concept that truth is our identity. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause at that rotation and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. So inhaling forward, exhaling back. Just working with your own range of motion here. Maybe noticing if this side feels different than rotating in the other direction. Not trying to analyze or intellectualize it though, but just noticing. Good. Slowly make those circles smaller and smaller until you find a neutral space at center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Good. Bring the hands to the shins now for spinal flex or camel ride. So we'll begin rocking forward on the inhale, backwards on the exhale. Just working on that lower spine, getting a little bit of flex. We want to keep the heart and the chest lifted here. Keep the head as neutral as possible. Again, just working on that flexibility. Good. Inhale forward. Exhale. Bring yourself onto your knees for rock pose. So we're going to be seated on the heels here. I always like to keep a blanket handy so that I can keep it underneath the heels just to give myself a little bit of cushion, give me a little bit more lift so that I'm having a bit more space created here with my breathing. Hands come on top of the thighs. We'll also be doing a spinal flex here, but this is going to be more for the mid and upper flex. So same concept here, flexing forward on the inhale, backwards on the exhale. Really feel that heart center opening through this one. It's really important for us to work on the spine, work on the flexibility, work on where our body's connected to all of these nerve endings, because in Kundalini, we are really working on healing the nervous system, working on balancing the glandular system. And so today's no different. We want to get that movement. We want to get those connections opened up. We want to make sure that everything's firing the way that it should be. Good. Inhale forward. Exhale. Bring the hands on top of the shoulders now. So fingers facing forward, thumbs backwards for a little bit of twisting. So twisting again from the rib cage, from this upper portion here, towards the left on the inhale, towards the right on the exhale. Just working with however much movement that you have this morning. It may be much farther than I'm able to move. It may be even smaller. That's okay. We just want to work with where we're at. We want to begin to open up just slightly wherever we can. Be mindful of keeping the shoulders lifted, keeping them parallel with the ground, and not to force this movement. Good. Inhale to center. Exhale. The arms come down. Let yourself come down off of your heels, back into that cross-leg position. Hands come onto the tops of the knees for shoulder shrugs. So on the inhale, we're lifting the shoulders up towards the ears. On the exhale, we're letting them drop. Now, be mindful of, again, where your body is at. If you have any type of injury, or if this is really sore and the dropping is just too intense, then just lower it down in whatever way makes sense to you. Be gentle with it if you need to be gentle with it. But we're inhaling, exhaling. Good. Inhale, bring the shoulders up. Exhale, roll them down and back so that they sit just a little bit lower than before. Now take the nose, begin rotating with the neck. So inhaling as you rotate up, exhale as you roll down. Choose any direction that you like because we're going to go both ways. Again, just loosening up any tension in the neck and the shoulders. Not forcing any of this rotation, but just rotating right on wherever your edge is. Keeping the spine lifted. Keeping that gaze at the third eye. Keeping the jaw and the muscles on the face as soft as possible. Good. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause at the bottom and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. Still inhaling up, exhaling down. Deep belly breathing here. Okay, now begin to make those circles smaller and smaller. Until you find a neutral space at center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Good. So that concludes our warm-up. You can bring yourself now into rock pose for Sat Kriya. So again, I'm going to be bringing a blanket underneath my legs, just here. Give myself a little bit of cushion, give myself a little bit of relief with the knees. We're going to get a little bit of that belly pumping in Sat Kriya. Stimulate that Kundalini energy, get everything moving around, balance that lower triangle, and get everything moving up and transformed. So again, for Sat Kriya, the arms are going to be up overhead. The fingers are interlaced. The index fingers point straight up and the thumbs crisscross, whatever way feels most natural or normal to you. I normally just say like, whenever it comes together, however that goes, just go with it. So arms are up overhead. We're turning in the elbows, turning in the armpits here. And we'll just begin by chanting Sat Nam. Sat Nam, 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 Sat Sat, 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 Sat. Inhale deeply. Pull up on root lock as you suspend the breath, so squeeze the anal sphincter, sex organs. Visualize that energy spiraling from the base of the spine, up through the heart center, up through the crown of the head, up through the fingers. Exhale through the nose, let the arms come down. Let yourself come off of the heels. Take a moment here to just sit with your space. Take a moment to rest. We are going to do one more round before we get to our meditation. So just take a minute here and feel how that energy is moving through your body. Again, notice where there's expansion. Notice where there's still maybe a bit of tension here. Let the breath do what it wants to. Good. Okay, bring yourself back into that rock pose posture, seated on the heels. Elongated spine, chest lifted. Gaze at the third eye. Arms up overhead. And we begin. Sat, nam, 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 sat, nam 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 sat, nam. You're doing great. We're about halfway. Focusing on lengthening through the spine with this. Sat, nam 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 sat, nam. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Pull up on root lock. Visualize that energy radiating from the navel point now, traveling out to all parts of your body, through your fingertips, through your toes, through your nose. Before it's uncomfortable, exhale through the nose, let the arms come down. Shake them out if you need to. Tend to your body for just a moment. Take a rest here before we move into our meditation. So again, just take a second, let the breath do what it wants to, let it regulate. Take another moment here now to reconnect with your intention for today's practice. Before we move into our meditation, it's always good to remind the mind why we're doing the things that we're doing, especially during meditation when it can tend to have a tantrum or just present some things to us that maybe we weren't looking to spend time with or we weren't expecting to come up. So I'll pause here for a second with the tunes and show you, I'll show you the mantra one more time. So we're doing the Antar Nod mantra for full moon. And the way that it looks from a mudra standpoint is we are going to begin with hands in together in prayer pose, starting around the navel point. And as we move up, when we get to around heart center, we're going to begin opening the hands into lotus. So lotus means the thumbs are connected and the pinkies are connected. So we'll begin opening this up, just like a flower would begin to blossom. And we're going to go up until we're at about the brow point. Then we'll just turn the hands down so that we're in reverse prayer pose, so that the back of the hands are touching. And we'll begin to go down again until we get to about navel point. And so we're going to divvy it up with the mantra. So for the first part, it is sa re sa sa. And we'll repeat that 3 times. So whenever you say this is Sanskrit. So if we were saying it in just like our English American accents, we would say sa re. But that doesn't give any stimulation to the brain. So whenever we're pronouncing these R's, we want to get that flick of the tongue to the top of the palate. So it'll be more like they. So sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa sarang. And then the next part is, this looks like har, but it's also pronounced had because we're going to get that R on the top of the palate. So hara re, hara hara, hara re, hara hara, hara re, hara hara, hara rang. And we'll split that with the mudra. So it'll go sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa sarang, hara re, hara hara, hara re, hara hara, hara re, hara hara, hara rang. And so sa is like the infinite totality. It is everything. Har is creativity. So we're calling on that creativity. We're calling on that totality, understanding that it exists in everything so that we can use that to blossom into what's coming next for us. And then push all of that other stuff down and away. Let it just be sort of composted for something else. It's not an energy that we need anymore. So we'll work on that. We are going for 11 minutes today. So this is a big one. This is a big moon. It's a good time to get a little bit of a meatier meditation practice in. So just be mindful of that. That normally, I have a teacher who says whenever we get to about the 7 or 8 minute mark, they call it the twilight zone because it's kind of where you're going to meet yourself. So expect some of those defense mechanisms to come up. Expect some of those feels to come up at that time, and really use it as a time to anchor yourself with the mantra. So when we keep sort of that repetition going, when the brain wants to go off course or start a new line of thinking, we can just stay on that course with the mantra. And so since we're doing it for 11 minutes today, that's going to work on our nervous system. It's going to work on the glandular system. And it's just going to give you just kind of like a reset with everything. So we'll go ahead and get started. So I'll turn this up a little bit more. Gaze is at the third eye. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare re hare 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 ram. sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare 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 Ram. sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 re. Hare re hare 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 re hare re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare 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 ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare re hare hare ram. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And bring yourself lying down onto your back now for deep relaxation. So let your feet spread as wide as your mat. And your arms fall away from the sides of your body, palms facing up. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Relax the feet. Relax the ankles. Relax the calves and knees. Relax the thighs. Relax the lower back. As you relax the breath, relax the belly. Relax the ribs. Relax the shoulder blades as you sink deeper into your support. Relax the hands. Relax the elbows. Relax the shoulders, the neck, and the lower jaw. Relax the muscles on the face, the eyes behind the eyelids, brow, forehead, scalp are all at ease. As you relax now, let the work that you put in today integrate into your body. As this energy circulates and your body heals its 3 trillion plus cells. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. As you return back to your body in this moment in time and space. Inviting tiny movements into the fingertips and toes. Begin to rotate the hands around the wrists and the feet around the ankles in all directions. And your next inhale, bring those feet together, bring the arms up overhead. Give yourself a full body stretch, just like you're waking up in the morning. On the exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Rock from side to side. Give that lower back a little massage. Give a little signal to the kidneys and the adrenals that everything's okay. From here, rub together the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet crisply. Rub the tongue along the roof of the mouth. Stimulating the body's energy points. And from here, you can either rock and roll along the spine at least 3 times to come to seated. Or you can simply just turn over to one side and push yourself up. So we'll conclude today's practice by singing the Long Time Sunshine song, reconnecting again just for a moment with our intention from today, where we are channeling that full moon energy. We are honoring the beauty in endings, honoring the beauty in new beginnings. So if there's anything, any wishes, any peace or blessings that you want to send out to yourself, visualize that in round 1. And then if there's any peace or blessings you'd like to send to anyone in your life, anyone you know, anyone that may be coming into your life this Gemini season, go ahead and send those projections out as well. So take a moment here. Again, hands back at heart center, feeling the knuckles of the thumb press against the sternum. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. May we be happy. May we be holy. May we be healthy. May we hold space for the truth that the human experience is both painful and beautiful. May we honor the beauty in endings and beginnings. Satnam. Satnam, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I am sending you big love, big compassion through all of these changes. And we're defining our new normal. We're going to get through it. Life goes on. Satnam.